Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 224th installment of the Focus TV. As always, we got a lot to get through, starting with the NFC East, followed by the Pac-12. Got some Mystics updates, Mount Zion Open gym notes, 9-450 breakdown, little DC United, and some rapid fire. As always, joined by our illustrious panel, we got Octavia Wyatt, Raymond Lyons, Cardell Dudley Jr. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. Once again, welcome to the Focus TV. Octavia, the NFC East. Floor is yours. Week one's out the way. Looking forward to what you got to say about week two, buddy.
I won't have much to say about week two. I can tell you that now. But no, week one is officially in the books. And again, we have 16 more games. Last year, we was dealing to 15. But of course, there is an extra game this year. So a lot to take in. I'm going to go in order of the standings. Currently, just feeling kind of good after week one. So currently, first game that took place this week on Thursday night were the Cowboys versus the Buccaneers. Cowboys lost to the Bucs. Cowboys had 29, Bucs had 31. Dak Prescott was 45 of 58, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 4 carries for 13 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 11 carries, 33 yards, 2 receptions for 6 yards. Amari Cooper, 13 receptions, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Last but not least, CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions, 104 yards, and 1 touchdown. Now, it pains me to say, but the Cowboys look good, I have to give credit where credit is due. They look good, although I talk about this a lot. There's no such thing, in my opinion, of moral victories. I'm sure they would have rather got the W than have this moral victory. But at the end of the day, it was really good to finally see Dak get out there and play after coming off of the ankle injury from last year, the shoulder injury that's been going on this year. He hadn't played a full go hard practice or game for over 11 months, almost a year. So, of course, that was the biggest question going into the game. How would he look? Would he be favoring either his shoulder or his ankle? And to me, it didn't look like nothing ever happened to him. He was out there and he was balling. He looked exactly to me how he looked last year, before the injury. I was a little bit surprised that with him coming off of the shoulder injury, they wanted to throw so much. Throwing 58 passes in a game is a lot, especially for somebody coming back from that type of injury that they talked about, which is really only seen in baseball. So for somebody in football to have the injury and then come into a game their first time back, throwing 58 times was crazy to me, but it works for them. Obviously, I feel like most of that was probably because, of course, Zach Martin wasn't in there and the running game was non-existent. 60 yards combined rushing for them in this game. Zeke really didn't get pretty much any traction. Again, like I said, 11 carries, 33 yards, 2 receptions for 6 yards. That's not going to cut it. But Zach Martin has been removed from the COVID list, but now Gregory goes on to the COVID list. So now they're having to see what's going to happen in that front. CeeDee Lamb had a lot of drops, a lot of costly drops that I feel like probably could have changed the outcome of this game. But I feel like we put a lot on him. Yes, he had a great rookie year, but again, he's still probably getting accustomed to a lot of things. If anybody was trying to decide who the number 1 wide receiver is in Dallas, it is not CeeDee Lamb, it is Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper balled out. Once they finally stopped, in my opinion, trying to force the ball to CeeDee Lamb and let it come and get the ball to Amari, a lot of more things started happening for them. But again, their offense, to me, was never really the issue. It was on the defensive side of the ball for them. And their defense stood up. Being able to turn over the champs 4 times, that's a lot, So kudos to them. But they still have some, of course, things that they need to fix. But all in all, they had a really, really good game. They took the Bucs to the wire. The biggest issue just was they gave Tom too much time. He had entirely too much time to get down the field and get what they needed to have done. So that probably was the biggest area for improvement. Also, I believe Michael Gallup is injured as well. So seeing how that's going to affect their wide receiving core group as well going forward. Their next game is going to be on Sunday versus the Chargers, who coming up in our next game actually defeated another one of the NFC East contenders. So Washington football team played the Chargers this week, and they lost to the Chargers. Chargers at 20, Washington football team 16. Ryan Fitzpatrick was 3 of 6, 13 yards, 1 carry for 2 yards. Taylor Heinicke, 11 of 15, 122 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 carries for 17 yards. Antonio Gibson, 20 carries, 90 yards, 3 receptions for 18 yards and 1 fumble. Terry McLaurin, 4 receptions, 62 yards, and Logan Thomas had 3 receptions for 30 yards. It just, the start of the game was probably the worst thing that they thought was going to happen to them going into the game. Just watching Justin Herbert march straight down the field and score on the opening drive just had to be kind of deflating for them because, as we know, what we've been talking about a lot with the Washington football team is their defense. Their defense is really what's going to keep them in the game. While they do have a lot of weapons on the offensive side, McLaurin, Logan Thomas, but it's going to be a lot harder for them to get involved now with, as you heard me mention, Taylor Heinicke was in the game, and that was due to Ryan Fitzpatrick, the starter, getting injured. And he has a hip injury where they say he could be out anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. And that's going to be a struggle for them. But it seems like the Washington football team and Coach Ron Rivera are content with Heinicke starting. There hasn't been any talks of, at least from them, about bringing anybody else in that might ring a bell to some people that used to coach in another place where there's a quarterback looking to go somewhere. A lot of people are wondering if Ron Rivera is going to call up his old buddy Cam Newton and be like, hey, why don't you come up here? I don't foresee that happening. Number one, I feel like Ron Rivera was probably part of the reason, there was some type of disconnect later on during their marriage down there that it just stopped working out for them. And then also probably the biggest thing is, of course, we know Ron Rivera just beat a bout with cancer. And it appears that Cam Newton is not vaccinated, and I'm sure that that's probably another thing that they're, of course, can't come out and say, but I'm sure that's something that's in the back of their mind as well. But on the other side of it, the Washington pass rush was just kind of non-existent. We were talking about Sweat and Chase Young, talking about something they wanted to be all-time sack leaders this year. Didn't start off too good for them. They barely were able to get a lot of pressure on Justin Herbert. And of course, we know that their offensive line, it's kind of makeshift. They're all coming into their own this year. So it was kind of concerning that they didn't get more pass rush than we thought that they would get in this game. But Jonathan Allen did get a sack for them, but Young and Sweat were the ones that people were really looking at to kind of pressure the quarterback this week. Then also the Chargers converted 14 of 19 third down attempts. The Washington football team defense on third down was horrendous. Horrible. It was actually a franchise record for the most third downs allowed in a game, which is just crazy. And actually, it could have been technically 14 of 18, but the last one was a kneel down by the Chargers. So they kind of gave the Washington football team a little bit of help in that aspect. But there was just so many times they weren't able to get off the field when it counted. And on the offensive side of it, the rookie Sam Kelsey had a very difficult day with Joey Bosa, which is not unexpected because it's Joey Bosa. So I'm not surprised. You would have thought maybe they would have given him a little more help, but it didn't seem to happen that way. Taylor Heinicke was able to escape more than probably what Ryan Fitzpatrick would have been able to do. So some of it was masked a little bit more. But if Fitz was back there, which is the reason why he got hurt, it might have been a different day. But lastly, Antonio Gibson, who has been given the reins, he will be the number one running back in this game. He had a decent game, but the one thing that everybody's going to remember from this week is that costly fumble. It's going to be the thing that they talk about. It's going to be the thing that they see. Ball security is something that I feel like everybody in the NFC East needs to have on the front of their mind because it seems like that is something that they struggle with a lot. But that fumble was literally the thing that changed the game for them. Where then three plays later, the Chargers were able to go down and score the go-ahead touchdown with Mike Williams. So tough day for them, and it doesn't get any easier as they have a short week coming in with a new quarterback. This week they will be playing a fellow NFC East contender, which will be the New York Giants. So they will be playing this Thursday night. The Giants this past Sunday played the Broncos, and they got their butts kicked by the Broncos, 27 Broncos, 13 Giants. Daniel Jones, 22-37, 1 touchdown, 6 carries for 27 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 fumble loss. Saquon Barkley, 10 carries, 26 yards, 1 reception for 1 yard. And Sterling Shepard had 7 receptions, 113 yards, and 1 touchdown. Biggest thing coming into the game, Saquon Barkley is finally healthy enough to play, but is he healthy enough to actually change the game for them? 10 carries, 26 yards is nothing we ever thought we would see from Saquon Barkley. Of course, they're probably easing him in, but how long is it going to take for them to ease him in? Because you don't want to fall too far behind, although we know it's the NFC East. Last year, somebody went to the playoffs with an 8-8 record, or with 8 wins. I'm sorry, 8 wins. So, or it might have been less than that. I can't even remember the top of my head right now. But we know you don't need too many wins in the NFC East to possibly go to the playoffs. So while they may be thinking about that, they need to figure out how is Saquon going to be able to do anything? How is he going to be able to propel the offense as he's done in his past years? If he's not able to do it, then it has to be on Daniel Jones, where he had a decent day as well, threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown. But again, another costly turnover by Daniel Jones, fumble that it just can't happen. The reports from the offseason was that was one of the biggest things that he cared about, that he worked on this year, was ball security. It's not happening. Obviously, he can't run past, he trips over his feet, it seems like, once a game, where it's just not a good look for them. And him going into his 4th year, having at least 30 to 40 turnovers in this period of time is not a good look for a quarterback. There's no way. You would think that a quarterback would be able to keep a starting position with that type of stat line, but here he is. He's still Danny Dimes, and still starting quarterback for the Giants. The defensive side of the ball also didn't have a great day, which, again, shout out to Teddy Bridgewater, because he was out there doing his thing. He was like, y'all think y'all forgot? I'm still here. I love that he got an opportunity and he went out there and performed. Running back Melvin Gordon averaged a whopping of 9.2 yards per carry up to 100-yard rushing. So, again, defense wasn't really there, wasn't able to stop the rush. So they kind of got to go back to the drawing board. If you guys watched the wrap-up we had on Sunday, you know how Keith felt about his Giants. I understand why he felt that way. Last but not least, to the only team victorious this week are my Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, played the Falcons this week, 132-6. Jalen Hurts, 27-35, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 carries for 62 yards. Miles Sanders, 15 carries, 74 yards, 4 receptions for 39 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, 9 carries for 37 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 carries for 6 yards. 2 receptions for 6 yards. Devontae Smith, 6 receptions, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. Jalen Reagor, 6 receptions, 49 yards, 1 touchdown. Dallas Goedert, 4 receptions, 42 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, it was just a great day for us. It was really nice to see everything click. I love to see you guys' faces like this. This is amazing. Let me have my 1 week, because you will probably not see this next week. But I'm going to have my moment. But no, it was a lot more of a balanced attack this year. They rushed the ball 31 times for 173 yards and averaged 5.6 on the run. I was very, very, very surprised to see Kenneth Gainwell get carries that Boston Scott, you would have thought he would have gotten. Again, I've never been a huge Boston Scott fan. I say this every time. I feel like they are just looking to find the next Darren Sproles. He ain't it. There is no other Darren Sproles. We got to let it go. And I think that seeing Kenneth Gainwell get out there as a rookie, get his first touchdown as a rookie as well, was very, very telling to see how the depth chart changes behind for the running back group. Jalen Hurts, I mean, there have been so much talk about his accuracy. Is he going to be able to get the ball where it needs to be? Is he going to be able to produce? And he looked flawless to me. I didn't really see any big issues that I had with him in this game. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but throwing the ball the way he did, running the ball the way he did, the decision making that he made was just all really, really good, especially coming in as this first time as a starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. That pass he threw to Devontae Smith, which is kind of funny that Devontae Smith's first catch was in the exact same stadium that he won when they won the NCAA championship, in the exact same place in 2018 on the exact same field, which is crazy. For that to be his first catch, his first touchdown as an NFL player, it's got to feel good for him. If anybody thought that we were trying to figure out who the number one wide receiver was, there is no competition. It is Devontae Smith. He just looked so poised in the scheme. Nick Sirianni, I'll be the first person to tell you, he's weird. He says all these crazy things. He does all these crazy things, but it seems like he's getting through to the team. The defense looked amazing. Did not even allow a touchdown in this game. They were 2 for 2 in the red zone, keeping them out of the end zone. It was just an all-around great game. Now, I measure my excitement because it was the Falcons. We know what that means. But at the end of the day, it was a good game for them to start the season off. It will be another test, a bigger test. If you don't even consider this game a test, I would not mind that, but it will be a bigger test next week against the 49ers and their defense, and we know how that goes. So I might not talk this much next week, but I'm done now.
Hey, y'all welcome. Congrats. We helped y'all out a little bit, got the Giants about it. They shout out Vaughn. That was the real reason. That's why he looked at Vaughn.
You're right.
Just need him to stay healthy, that's all.
I know, man. I feel for y'all and Jerry Jeudy.
He'd be all right. Yeah. He bounce back.
At least it wasn't as bad as
Jones trying to get paid.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just saying, Vaughn and Chandler Jones, awesome. Y'all owe us money. That's what this year is for both of them. Give us that last bag.
Thank God, they on some. Thank God, Elway not making decisions no more. We probably got some pieces again. But go ahead.
That is definitely true. Might have been the thing that saved the franchise. My man promoting himself out of a decision making. Only in America.
Just be an ambassador. Be a high paid. Just be a highly paid ambassador, dog. There you go.
You're like, yeah, don't listen to me no more.
Exactly.
My man failed, dismissed himself, and then promoted himself. I mean, and stuff's working, so can't really knock it right now, right? From the pro ranks to the college ranks, staying in football, let you guys see what Keith has for you in this week's Pac-12 segment. And when we get back, we'll take a quick break in the Mystic segment, where Ray is going to let you guys know what lies ahead for them in an all-important week.
It's Keith Archie here, back from ASU, the Walter Cronkite School. Today we'll be covering week 2 of the Pac-12, and let's get into it. ASU dominated UNLV 37-10. Quarterback Jaden Daniels struggled as a passer, but continued to grow and improve as a runner. He had 125 yards. When he was running the ball, it was like no other. He made guys miss. He had cornerbacks shook when they were one-on-one, and usually you don't see that when it comes to a quarterback. But having that ability to dominate as a runner, if he can get to where he needs to be as a passer, this guy can be a first or second round draft pick. I'm not sure if he'll be coming out of this year's draft or stay for another year, but this guy, if he can improve as a passer, can definitely make some noise in the NFL. Running back Rashad White ran for 90 yards. When that guy runs, he has great ball carrier vision. He's very patient in the backfield. He makes sure he finds what hole he needs to, and he also can lower his shoulder and pick up a few extra yards when he needs to. Doug Brumfield, quarterback for UNLV. He's left-handed, so the game plan for him obviously was a bit different. When they came out, you could tell ASU's defense could not get off the field on third down, and I think that was mainly due to the fact that they had to adjust to going against a lefty quarterback. It is definitely easier said than done, so they couldn't get off the field. They did eventually hold them to 3 once they got in the red zone, but they definitely struggled with him toward the beginning. But he's only a sophomore. He definitely can improve a lot and make some noise sometime soon. He's a great runner, He's a bit more athletic than Jaden is, but I'd give Jaden the edge on passing ability. But they both can make some noise sooner rather than later. Oregon upsets number 3 Ohio State. C.J. Stroud struggled. He definitely did. Despite what the stat line said, he continued to make passes, and then he didn't make passes. It was a weird combination. He would overthrow open wide receivers downfield that would have changed the ending of the game, and then he would make a pass, and it's like, how did that guy do it? The most impressive thing that Oregon did this win was without linebacker Justin Flo, who's crazy from sideline to sideline, and edge Kayvon Thibodeau. Doing it without those guys proves that with them, they're going to be a scary sight. Edge Kayvon Thibodeau is looked to be like number 1 draft pick out unless it's a quarterback. He's that good. C.J. Cardell dominated on the ground with 161 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, which was mighty impressive when you're going against Ohio State. Troy Dye also had a touchdown, so he was sprinkled in. He's a speedster, so when Cardell needs a break, he comes right in. Colorado falls just short. They were this close to winning that game, 10-7 against 5th-ranked A&M, Texas A&M. Quarterback Brendan Lewis led the team with 76 rushing yards, and the craziest part about it is that he's a freshman. He's a dual-threat quarterback as a freshman. He led the team with 76 rushing yards, but despite that, Jerry Broussard, the running back that I mentioned last week, went off, had 12 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. So it was a slow game for them all. They were going against a really talented team. Cal falls short to TCU, 34-32. That was a good game. Chase Garbers, quarterback, had 309 passing yards with 2 touchdowns. On 14 carries, Damian Harris had 71 yards and 2 touchdowns. Trevon Clark poses as a deep threat, had 2 catches, 122 yards, and a touchdown. And, usually when you have 2 catches, 122 yards, that means you did something right. So you had a pretty good deep ball, and you posed as a dominant guy when it comes to deep ball. Washington fell to Michigan, 31-10. That game was one-sided from the beginning. Dylan Morris provided 293 passing yards and just 1 TD. That wasn't enough to get the job done, especially when you're going against Michigan. You gotta get them off the field, and you have to slow them down. Michigan running back Blake Corum dominated. And when I say dominated, he dominated from the beginning. He finished out with 21 carries, 171 yards, and not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns in the win over Washington. That was very impressive. Look out for him to continue to dominate this year. San Diego State ran through Arizona 38-14. They kind of trolled them on social media this week too. It was pretty funny to see. With a blowout like 38-14, you earn the rights to kind of talk a good smack. Arizona couldn't get anything going offensively. It was a struggle from the beginning. Tavion Cunningham was the only bright spot with 5 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown, but that was pretty much it for them. Unranked BYU upsets Utah 26-17. Utah was 21st ranked. BYU faces 19th ranked ASU this upcoming week. I will definitely get you guys updated on that game once it comes out. BYU is now ranked 23rd. Quarterback for Utah, Charlie Brewer, struggled, 147 passing yards, 1 touchdown and an interception. He struggled. Michael Bernard dominated, 12 carries, 146 yards and a touchdown. This still wasn't enough. Sadly, you hate to have great games like that and it still not be enough. Stanford pummels through USC 42-28. Keaton Slavis continues to struggle. He had 223, 1 touchdown on 42 attempts. For some people that stat line would be really good, but this guy's supposedly a top 5 quarterback in this upcoming draft class, so you got to provide more than just that. Drake London continues to do his thing as a number 1 target, 4 catches, 68 yards and a touchdown. He still continues to impress, like I've said from the beginning. Oregon State comes out with a win against Hawaii. Quarterback Chance Nolan has a good game with 302 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. BJ Baylor dominated on the ground with 171 rushing yards. I'm starting to see a trend with 171 rushing yards. But he had not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns as well. And they ran through Hawaii. You know, Hawaii's not a powerhouse when it comes to football, but they're still impressive when you're able to put up points like that nonetheless. Like I did last week, I gave you guys a quarterback to keep your eye on. This week, I'm going to do the same. Carson Strong out of Nevada. Keep your eye on him. I told you about him last week, but I'm going to sprinkle some more about him this week. He has a great arm, great pocket presence, and he has all the right tools to be an impressive quarterback when draft time comes around. I promise you, and you heard it here first, when the draft comes around, this guy will definitely be a first-round pick. He may even squeeze his way to the top 20. So keep your eye on him. This is Keith Archer from ASU. I'm out.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. And special thanks to Keith for knocking out this week's Pac-12 segment. All right, Ray, what's going on with the Washington Mystics?
Man, after everything they've been through this season, the roller coaster ride, here they are. 2 games left. They're in the driver's seat making the playoffs. You know, they're sitting at 8th right now. They got a very important game against the Liberty on Friday. If they win that game, they pretty much lock things up. The Liberty and the Sparks are on their heels for that 8th spot. But they had if they beat the Liberty, they will gain another game on them, and then they have a tiebreaker against the Sparks. So yeah, they will definitely do themselves a favor if they go ahead and take care of business on Friday. You know, they just came off a huge win against Chicago. To be perfectly honest, man, the attitude in that game for them just felt like we're not going out like that. You know, they from the beginning of the game, the tone was set specifically on the defensive end, which, you know, if you've been watching Mystics Outlook, we've been stressing that since the season started, that's going to have to be their identity. That's where they're going to have to start from. And the defense fueled their offense. Tina was on one. You know, we already know how she feels. And then going into a big matchup like this against Candace Parker, this probably gave her a little bit of extra juice. But yeah, man, she was back to MVP Tina. You know, she had some inconsistency coming out of Olympic break. You know, I'm pretty sure fatigue was setting in. And then she had to deal with the injury. So it looks like she's rounded back in herself. Natasha Cloud was impressive. We talk constantly about her, you know, needing to be more aggressive, you know, not just from a scoring standpoint, but just, you know, being decisive and just making herself a threat, you know, and then that kind of opens things up for other people. As we saw with Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, she had a great game, man. She was 7 for 8, 14 points. And she was just aggressive and getting to her spots and just putting the ball in the basket. Then she had 6 steals on the other end. So she was just her impact was felt all throughout the game. But you know, man, it was a complete and total team win. You know, they will be getting Ariel Atkins back this Friday. She was you know, dealing with a death in the family, and hopefully they'll have Maisha back. So, you know, if they're able to scrap out wins like this, even with a depleted roster, you know, you can only imagine what they'll look like once they, you know, start to get some of the troops back. So, you know, hopefully they can finish the season on a strong note. Winning this game will go a long way. You know, they can lock things up and then just go ahead and, you know, give some of the ladies some well-deserved rest and to head into the playoffs as healthy as possible. You know, you don't want to lose this game against New York and then have to fight for your life against Minnesota on Sunday, which, you know, the last time they played, it was Minnesota thoroughly dominated them. So just go ahead and make your lives easy. Take care of business. You know, you don't want to go limping backwards into the playoffs. You want to come in with some positive momentum, you know, so you can continue to carry that out and possibly advance to the next round. So yeah, man, their destiny's in their own hands. You know, they can make some noise. You know, this season is very reminiscent of last year in the bubble. You know, they had to fight through a lot to get to the postseason, and even then, on top of that, they were eliminated on a last-second shot, ironically by a player that they that was previously on their team that year. But you know, man, stuff happens. But yeah, man, I'm cautiously optimistic, man, because, you know, if anything, we know the standard that Coach Tebow has set for them, and he's not going to allow them to not meet that. And it's been a rough season for them. He's been vocal about how tough it's been. For a guy with his experience and has seen a lot in basketball, for him to be this, visibly affected by what's going on, you can only imagine what they've been dealing with and what they had to fight through. But I think the simple fact that they're still here and in a place to go ahead and ensure up their postseason berth, I think they're hype. I think they're going to come out with a lot of intensity, and it's a home game. So yeah, man, I expect to see a good showing on Friday.
All right, on to Cardell. I know you spent some time Mount Zion Open Gym. So I know you love being in the gym. What stood out to you?
No doubt, man. It's that time of year. Basketball programs at all levels, gearing up. They in the lab preparing for the upcoming season. Obviously at the high school level, it's a feeling of gratitude this season because for most last season they ain't have a season, due to COVID. So mostly excited to get back to it. I know they had the AAU, they got back to the AAU circuit or whatnot, but I'm sure a lot of kids are ready to suit up for the high school teams and get back after it, man. Especially if they picked up offers, they want to continue to pick up more offers and try to secure a place in college. That's the goal, as well as win games and battle for states or whatever conference you in. You know what I mean? On this stop, I visited Mount Zion Prep in Landow, Maryland. I got an early look at their high school program, which is beginning their inaugural season under former Avalon coach Quentin Dulick. Now, most are familiar with Mount Zion's powerhouse prep program that has produced a number of Division I players, including current New York Knicks for Obi Toppin. Now they had the same impact with their high school program. But just here's some notes from the Open Gym. First off, I want to just put a spotlight on 6'7" sophomore forward Len King. He may have the best potential out of anyone on the team. He has a perimeter skill set. He's very dangerous in transition due to his length, his skill, and athleticism. He's a versatile defender, capable of defending 1 through 5 at the high school level. He will need to be effective no matter who he guards because he's pretty much the tallest player. So he will see a lot of big men, as well as on pick and roll situation. He would have to get out there and defend guards. So he's capable. If he puts his mind to it and stay focused. Even though he's young, being a sophomore. He's a streaky shooter. He hits some shots, but he's not a knockdown shooter. He has some moves on the block as well where he can play inside and out. He has to hit the weight room. He's real thin. And it's high school players right now in this day and age, they're training like pros already. So he's going to have to hit that hard to maximize his potential. That, along with the experiences, was holding him back from really exploding on the scene. I believe everything is on him. It's how bad it's how bad do we want it? If you want it bad enough, you'll be hearing his name, national rankings soon enough. Next up is 6'6" sophomore wing Alex Bird. Another versatile forward. He's not as skilled as King, but he has skill, and he's a little bit more strong. He's a little bit more bulky with his body. Improving his skill and confidence is key for him. Right now he has tools, but he's not always confident utilizing them, which is, honestly, it's the norm for sophomores. I know we get enamored with the top prospects or whatnot. They come in, they are already ready to go. But the normal development curve is, sophomores are still trying to figure it out. So that's what the coaching staff is there for. They're there to get that out of him. But he has tools to make an impact for Mount Zion this season, man, right away. Shaq Samuels, 6'5" guard. He's the dog for Mount Zion. He's a great shooter. He can shoot efficiently with range from anywhere on the floor. He's a physical guard who bullies opposing guards due to his strong frame. He has a sneaky handle, man. He got a little wiggle to his game, so it may not look like it when you see him, but if you ain't careful, he'll slide you out the gym. He got that in him. The thing I love is he plays with passion and he's smart. He actually cares about playing well, winning. He's ultra competitive. Right now, he's a low to mid-major prospect. If he handle business this year, I'm pretty sure possibly some high majors with Snoop come in and throw some offers his way, depending on how things play out with their program. But he's nice, man. He can get it done. He just have to put it all together this season. Next up is Isaiah Allen, 6 foot guard, just a shot maker, man. Simple as that, man. He's the guy doing pregame scouting. Opposing coaches will tell their team to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on Alexander because he's the shooter. Right? Everyone's focused on Shaq, and I'm gonna get to Imani, and obviously I just spoke about Lynn. Isaiah will be lighting them up from the perimeter. During the scrimmages and during practice, he didn't need much room to get a shot off, and I can't recall him missing one jumper. He missed driving to the lane. He obviously 6 feet. You can bother his shot. He's not the most athletic, but if you get his feet set and he gets a look in the rim, it's pretty much money. So if you're looking for a shooter, that's one kid to keep an eye on. Imani Anderson, another combo guard. He's a senior as well, 6'2". He after Shaq, he's the guy. He's a dynamic combo guard, explosive, crazy first step. That makes him hard to guard. He can score from all 3 levels and has the tool to be a standout defender as well. Underrated rebounder too. I think he'll sneak in and he'll get you about 6 or 7 boards a game, which is great for a guard. He's a good passer and elite finisher at the basket. I think he's a low major D1, D2 guy if he handles business this season. And definitely keep an eye on freshman Francis Folafat, 6'5", 220-pound freshman. He already has the body of a senior already, but he's a true freshman. I believe he could be a double machine in the future as he grows and gets in better condition, learns how to play the game. He showed flashes of being a rugged rebounder, obviously screener and technician inside with his post moves, scoring inside the paint. He just has to learn how to put it all together, as most freshmen do, man. You know what I mean? But if he grows and that 6'5" frame turns into 6'9", 240, then they will have a force, most definitely. Because as he grows, I think his confidence grows, and obviously his experience will grow. And it'll get ugly inside because he's not afraid to throw his body around, throw his weight around even right now. So just a kid to keep an eye on moving forward as he matures.
All right. Thanks for that update. And I'm sure, like you said, a lot of people are happy that the high school season is about to get started. I mean, we're about to have everything going for what feels like the first time in forever after the last couple of years. Where, this part of the year was, we saw so many things taken away, obviously for good reasons, because people do need to be take care of, be wary of what's going on. It's a freaking global pandemic. But it's still good to see some sense of normalcy come back around this year. On to the 9450 breakdown this week. Jamal Hayward will be showing you a breakdown of using opposite foot on a punch dribble. Again, it's a breakdown of using opposite foot on a punch dribble. That'll be followed by our second break when we get back. Let you guys know what's going on with DC United.
Today we're going to break down the punch dribble, going right and left. Punch dribble is used a lot by players. Paul George, James Willard is really famous for it. So just to give you an idea what that is, going right, I plant my right foot hard, and I pound my right hand hard. So here. Now today we're going to break down the step away off the punch dribble on the opposite foot. So again, just breaking it down again, going left, it's the left foot, left hand pound. So I'm at the top of the key here. Now, normally when we do the punch dribble, I go right, punch with my right foot, punch with my right hand, and I pull the right foot back and I shoot. Same thing going left. Pull the left foot back, shot. Now, here's the breakdown of what we're going to do opposite today. I'm going right, punch with my right foot and my right hand, but I step away with my back foot. Now, as the defender is going with you and you're going right, and I'm here, it probably wouldn't matter if I step back with my right foot, with the defender going this way, or I step back with my left foot. But having both gives you more of an advantage. So if I go right here, shot. So here it is, James Speed. So you can pull off combo moves, doesn't matter. Same thing going left. Once I go left, punching my left foot. Left hand, I'm stepping back on my right foot. So, doesn't matter, combo moves, either way, be able to punch and step back with the power foot, which is your left foot, if I go left, or my right foot, either one, doesn't matter.
Welcome back to the Focus TV again. Thanks to Jamal Hayward for knocking out 9450 breakdown. It's probably a quick update on DC United, and we might have some time for some rapid fire. DC United Saturday, the Black and Red faced New York Red Bulls on the road. They weren't able to get the 3 points they desired. They did leave with 1 point after 1-1 draw. It was far from a pretty game. The Red Bulls played extremely physical. DC United did match that physicality as the match went on. The Red Bulls did what they do best. They mucked the game up, kept DC from kind of getting into the free-flowing way they like to play, and it created more quality. And despite that, DC United still created more quality opportunities than the home side. They just couldn't capitalize. The Red Bulls would take the lead in the 5th minute. DC United was playing the ball out the back, and Patrick Klamala dispossessed Donovan Pines. You guys will see it here in a little bit. You tell me if you felt like this was just some physicality or a foul. The referee decided here in this part of the country, play on. As you see, Klamala dribbled the ball towards the box, found Drew Yearwood. He put it in the back of the net. The Red Bulls took a 1-0 lead. One of those key opportunities came for DC United several minutes later. Julian Gressel, perfect pass to Steven Birnbaum. Steven got a foot on it, and the keeper made just one heck of a save. Fast forwarding to the 41st minute, Kevin Paredes found himself in some space. And, New York did a good job just being physical with him. Anybody paying attention to DC United this year, that youngster, you get him in space, he tries to embarrass folks as he goes by you. They put hands on him as best they could. He did a good job of following Paul Arioli at the top of the box for a really clean shot, but the ball was blocked, courtesy of video review, something people in soccer despise, depending on how it works out for the team you root for. This time for DC United, the video review showed that the ball went off the hand of Sean Nealis. And, it kind of led to a PK after a review. Ola Kamara stepped up in the 44th minute. That familiar stutter step in his gait as he approached the ball on the PK and calmly beat the keeper. That was his 13th goal of the year. Of his 13, 5 have come by way of penalty kick. So the game's tied. In the 70th minute, DC United gets a big opportunity. Julian Gressel is surgical with his passing. This time he gets the ball on the right wing. Law say ball across the box to a running Yordi Reyna. Yordi gets a head on it. He dives and gets a head on it, but he couldn't get the ball down. So it just went over the net. But again, it was another good opportunity, and the pass was beautiful. Up next, DC United hosts Chicago Wednesday night at Audi Field. Then they face Atlanta United on the road on Saturday. The Black and Red are currently in 6th place, so they're going through that. They're going through something similar as the Mystics, where both teams trying to make the postseason and hold on. They're in a little bit better spot than the Mystics as of right now. They're not in the last place. They're not in the final playoff spot. They're in 6th, but still, if they win Wednesday, a win puts them in 4th. If they win on Saturday, they get a chance to at least be 4th, worst case scenario, if not slide into 3rd. They got a quality opportunities ahead of them this week. Again, it's a rough week though. You played on Saturday, you're playing on Wednesday, playing on Saturday again. Gotta love those weeks. But be back next week to let you guys know how DC United fares. Cardell, we got some time for rapid fire, so the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna start off with a wild one. A Florida State football player went through with his proposal after a brutal loss to Jacksonville State in the last seconds of the game on Saturday. FSU allowed the Gamecock to score a 59-yard touchdown, the final play of the game at home. Tallahassee, giving the FCS opponent a 2017 win. Jacksonville State quarterback Zarek Cooper threw a deep pass to wide receiver Damon Phil Johnson, who scored the game-winning touchdown. And while Jacksonville State celebrated the wild win on the field, redshirt junior offensive lineman Brady Scott got down on one knee and popped the question to his girlfriend, Ayla Pierce, an FSU alum. Scott took to Instagram to share photos with his fiancee during and after the proposal. The bride-to-be was all smiles as she waved her oval-shaped diamond ring in the camera. How would you guys feel about that if you were the coach and or teammate? We'll start with you on today.
How would you feel if you were her? Should you be doing this right now? Maybe you should save this for a game where you guys win. I don't know. But that's kind of weird to me. Like, I get it. Like, he probably had everything already planned out, even though just from the quick pictures that I looked at, it didn't look like it was extravagant or anything. He probably could have saved it. And if he was a redshirt freshman, he probably thought, I didn't play. If he played, I'm sorry. I don't know how to pay attention enough. But that's, as a coach, I would definitely feel some type of way because, we literally just lost. That is something that, but again, I feel like this generation is different. They don't take, that type of stuff to heart like we used to. Ain't nobody got time to be thinking about proposing to nobody and I just lost. They don't have that, to me, that competitive edge that we had growing up. So I can see why he probably didn't think anything of it. And honestly, I can probably see why his teammates probably did. If they haven't said anything, they probably didn't think anything of it either. But if depending on how their coaching staff looks at stuff, I would definitely have an issue with that. You need to save that for a time where we win. I'm sorry, and especially in the fashion that they lost in, and now his proposal pictures got all these people celebrating behind him and all this other stuff. I'm just he could have saved that for another day. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of guys that planned on proposing one day and something happened and I'll save it for another day. This should have been one of those days.
Bro, the team is celebrating in the corner back there on your field, bro. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, man. What is his problem? If I was his teammate, I'd have ran out there and tackled him. What are you doing? Yeah, read the room, dude. It's like Octavia said, man. I get it that you planned it, but you things have to change. That's if you about to play for a championship and you got balloons and stuff, and the away team win, and you still let the balloons down. That's you got to hold off, Slim. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. How, and he just looked like, everything's fine. No, man. You lost. Take her out to a restaurant afterwards and handle that. But to do it on the field while the other team is celebrating, that doesn't dampen the mood or
he don't care.
That's how you.
He does not care.
That's how you want to remember it. I proposed after we suffered one of the worst losses in our school's history. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe
I still don't even get why he had this planned for this game.
Yeah, maybe it's because he's a redshirt freshman that doesn't play. Yeah.
He's a junior. He's a redshirt junior.
Oh, you're a junior?
Oh, redshirt junior. I said redshirt freshman. Okay. That would be, as a coach, that would piss me off even more.
Yeah.
You're a junior too. Come on, Brian.
He was
I thought it was a freshman. What makes it? Yeah.
He still be running right now. Dog, nah, man. You gotta button that up.
Him and her. You get out here too.
Mr. Wilson, what do you think about the future 49er offensive line?
All I got to say to Florida State is we getting dangerously close to this place I was once at with the Knicks. And when I make that decision, I'm just going to let it go, man. We getting real close.
Man.
I'm a Florida State fan all my life. But this right here, y'all got one more of these, Mike Norvell, just like Mike D'Antoni. I guess it's a thing. Mike D'Antoni, you're the one that I got through the Jordan years as a Bulls fan. I got through the lockout year when they made it to the chip and got smoked. I survived all those things. That man brought that janky offense to New York, and I was like, I'm good. Mike Norvell, one more of these, sir. Like, you literally paid someone to give you the worst loss in program history. Shout out to you. I guess you should be proud. I guess, like, not only did they embarrass you, they got $400K too. That's a heck of a trip. That's a come up. If I'm everybody else, the first thing I'm doing going into next year, as long as this regime is at Florida State, man, schedule me. We'll meet you wherever. Schedule me now. What are you gonna do? Beat us? Like, come on, man. Between them and Miami, I don't know what's sadder. Like
400K. Now they made sure
they got 400K and a dub. And knowing Florida State, they probably gave it to them up front, and they got the dub.
Yeah. So I feel like how Deion Sanders felt. He said if he would saw that, he'd have ran on the field, punted that damn ring so far, it'd have went through the uprights. We'd have scored 3, and we'd have won the game. And he said then I would have got the ring. He said then I would have got the ring. Gave it to what's the homeboy that Wallow that was running on the field, got him a penalty last like a couple games ago. Gilly.
Yeah,
I was giving to Gilly to give it to Wallow so he could pawn that junk and they could come up off that junk. He like that's what he said. I agree with him. Like I'm not with this here. I can't. No. Like I'm the worst loser ever. Like it's L's to this day that sting me. I can't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a long time ago. Like that right there, you proposing though? It speaks volumes for where they at as a program. You see them like that those guys you recruit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think bro, this generation, man. I just don't get it. I will never understand it, though. There is nothing like I'd have told homegirl, yeah. I'd have looked up in the stands. I'd have told homie or whoever we set it up with, we do this another time. Like, I ain't anticipate this, yo. That's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying?
Completely
but
embarrassing.
I guess congrats to them. Hopefully they make it. But yeah, man, Florida State don't turn this around. They're going to go back and replay this in that moment forever and ever and ever, nonstop, dog. So, yeah. Who would have thought we would have seen, like you said, the U and Florida State at this low, dog? Like,
yeah, that's
the FCS team.
And the worst part is
they're being like the Alabama level. They was competing like that, like 2 Alabamas rumbling every year.
Not anymore. They don't even get the best kids in their state no more. Everybody leave. How about that? Florida.
Exactly. You go to Alabama. The NFL Players Association determined Josh Gordon has successfully completed his NFL monitored treatment program and has recommended to the league that he be reinstated. Gordon, 30, is awaiting final approval from NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, but he is vaccinated against COVID-19 and said to be ready to play. The veteran wide receiver submitted his reinstatement letter to Cardell in July. The NFL suspended Gordon indefinitely in December 2019 for violations of his policy on substance abuse and performance-enhancing substances. That was Gordon's 6th, I repeat, 6th suspension since 2013, and his 5th for some form of substance abuse, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. If Goodell finds it in his heart to reinstate this guy, would you bring him to your prospective teams? Ray, would you give him a 7th chance?
Personally, I wouldn't, but I would wish him luck somewhere else. You know, if from the outside looking in, if they're going to keep giving him chances, then hey, man, best of luck to you. You know, it doesn't hurt me in any way for him to continue to get another chance. So, you know, go do your thing, man. Hopefully you don't blow it for a 7th time. But yeah, I don't. Wow, like I'm surprised they still messing with dude, to be perfectly honest. But hey, man, you know, that somebody is showing him favor, so hopefully he takes advantage of it. You know, hopefully he's gotten the help he needs, and he'll continue to you know, to do his due diligence to try to stay on the right track. But yeah, if I was a coach, I wouldn't touch him. I mean, with the result is basically inevitable at this point until proven otherwise. So I wouldn't even want that distraction, you know, in my team. But, you know, like I said, best of luck to him. You know, hopefully he gets it right this time and is able to finish out his career on his terms.
Wilson.
Man, I've been down this road with Josh so many times. Always been rooting for him to like finally get it right. But like Ray said, you know, at this point, you would hope that it doesn't end the same way. But I mean, you know, this is number 7. So this is the seventh time.
Will be the
you know, yeah, it will be the 7th time. Someone's going to take a chance on him. Like, it's a passing league, and he's different. Like, he's been different this entire time. It's never been for football reasons. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Like Ray said, if I were a team that would think about this, I would be a veteran team to which I can afford to where it's something where if he's here, he's here. If he's not, he's not. But, you know, I'm anxious to see what will happen. But, yeah, hopefully to be the time where he actually, you know, stays on the straight and narrow. But it's hard looking at the past because at some points, like even when he does good for a little while, like, you know, it's hard for anybody to kind of get back on track and stay there. Sometimes when the issues are kind of that far right. But, you know, hopefully this could be the time. But I would, like Ray said, I'd advise that it be a veteran team where you can afford it and it's not going to make or break you in any shape, fashion, or form.
Octavia.
I mean, I'm all for us getting additional chances because there are a lot of players that look like us that don't get extra chances. But for somebody to have 6, 7 chances, that's a lot. And not to say that it's an easy task of trying to combat, you know, a substance abuse situation. Even watching the game last night, and I'm talking about Darren Waller, his situation, and then Crosby, his situation, you know, so knowing that a lot of those players do go through that. So that's the part that kind of throws me off. Like, I'm sure that there are a lot of players that have had substance abuse issues because of the league. You know, they play in a tough league. They play, their bodies get banged up all the time. So a lot of them, I'm pretty sure, are abusing some type of substance. But as many chances as he's had, it's kind of disheartening to even think about if it would actually work out. Again, just like you both said, I wish him the best of luck. I would not want him anywhere near my team. I would not need a distraction. I just wouldn't want to take that chance. He's going to have to find the perfect situation and have somebody that actually really has known him, I feel like, and somebody that actually believes in him and be able to, you know, for lack of a better term, be a babysitter, you know, because we think about AB, and I look at AB similar to this, not in this exaggerated situation, but, you know, AB had his issues off the field, and he had to get with somebody like Tom Brady that was, you know, for lack of a better term, babysitting him, and somebody that's like constantly saying, like, I'm here for you. You can come stay with me. You can do this. You can do that. I feel like he's going to need somebody like that. I don't know if there's going to be somebody out here that's going to be willing to do that. But I wish him the best. I mean, the biggest step is even getting Roger to sign off on it. So we're talking about potential teams that he could even go to. Roger might not even sign off on it. Who knows?
Right. Like I said, I'm with y'all. You know, I wish him the best. I don't wish anybody to fail or just be jacked up in life or whatnot. But, you know, the old quote, the old saying, man, when somebody show you who they are, believe them. You know what I'm saying? I believe who he's shown himself to be, man. It's just sad. Even if Cardell gave him a chance, I agree with Wilson. There's only a handful of teams that should even take that chance, and they got to be teams that's strong. Where it's like, man, look, we give you opportunity, but we ain't tripping off you. You like the first time, like if you sneeze wrong, where I think you was sniffing something, you gone. It's like that, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? If you drinking something, I need it, and it look brown. It better be apple juice. Like it's you don't even have a zero tolerance policy. Like I'm looking for a reason to ask you to roll, son. And it's at that point. And like two teams come to mind right now, like Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying? Put his ass on a practice squad and earn your way back up, or Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? Because they're receiving core that does, like, you know, somebody like teams like that. You can look at Arizona, like loaded teams with offensive weapons where it's just like, look, dog, you know you talented. Come in here and earn your keep. You know what I'm saying? You can be on the practice squad and work your way up, man. You know what I'm saying? If you over a few weeks you doing good and all that, we may give you a chance to suit up. That don't mean you may get in the game. It's gonna be a steady progression because I don't trust you. But along with those coaches also having something like Andy Reid, obviously we all know about the situation. He's done that with other players and the situation with his son, so he's familiar with that. You know, guys that sympathize with that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be a tough road. You know, regardless of football. You know what I'm saying? He gonna have his moments where he gonna want to go there, and he may need to talk. He's gonna need somebody that's understanding. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you say you had 6 chances, bro. Like most people only get one. Like there's people out the league that they just out the league, and that's it. So, and we know, and that's pretty much a thing called life not being fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do he get all these chances that other guys who done far less damage don't? You know what I mean? So, you know, you just have to. I mean, I don't know, man. You know, it's just one of those things where it's just sad. It's just another example, you know, us doing that to us. You know, being our own worst enemy. And I understand addiction and something like that, but man, dog, you 30 now. Dog, you done blew so many years just for nothing, man. Potentially millions. You have Hall of Fame talent, bro. And we don't, you know, you still got that talent. And that's what I'm saying. It's just, and then, you know, it's just a lot, man. So we wish him the best, man. Only God knows, though. But it would have to be a team that's strong, real strong, with strong leadership where, like, as soon as he mess up, man, his stuff will be outside. Yeah, he'll know what it is. We don't talk about it. Pat Riley style. You know what I'm saying? We got the little money up. We got the check upstairs, the briefcase, the stuff out. Just buy your stuff outside on the road. Come get it. And that's if you can get that text.
No, you're right. Like, let's think about the place he was last with Seattle. You know, Pete, they have all types of people in there at times, and they try to look out. You know, Octavia, you mentioned Waller. Waller started out at Baltimore, and that's definitely an organization that, you know, they give people second and third chances, and, you know, for them to kind of tell Waller, like, to push him out the door, you know, like you said, there's only so many chances you can have, and we'll see. And like Octavia said, like, we don't even know if good old Raj is going to sign off on it. This could be just like a headline for today, and Raj just be like, "No, I'm good." But we'll see. Want to thank y'all for being with us tonight. As always, we appreciate it. Just a reminder, get it with DCTV to watch Friday nights at 10. Obviously, our channel on Roku on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. And then Focus TV on social media. Give us a follow, especially as we said, with stuff starting back up. We're going to be busy. Get you a great opportunity to know what's happening, what we're up to, and then you don't have to just wait to check in with us once a week. There's other days we're doing stuff. So y'all have a great evening. Enjoy another week of sports. Octavia, can't wait to see what happens. What you got to say about your NFC East report next week? We're either going to be really happy, and, you know, and if it's not the desired outcome for you, I promise you I will not be petty at all next week.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
I won't.
Octavia, you know he's lying, right?
I can only hope. I can only hope.
How you gonna come and be like that, Raymond?
The highlight be long as hell. Full game, hour long.
That's how we saw about Florida State. That thing could go both ways. No. I mean it. Nope. Somebody was up by 24 this week. They won by 8. Nope. Won't be me next week. Anything is possible. Nope. Somebody went on a 16-0 run in 2 minutes. Nah, it won't be me. Y'all have a good week. We will see you very soon. Next week for the Focus TV.